intel gathering and organizing on the backside.
On January 5th, Hampton and I noticed that 1% Watchdog, the guy I introduced you to at the beginning of the show, had created a channel called Stop the Steal J6 with about 100 people in it. The next day, I had it running in the background while I watched the violence unfold on TV.
Okay, guys, we're on open channel here now.
Hey, brother, we're boots on the ground here. We're moving on to Capitol now. I'll give you a boots on the ground update here in a few.
That, of course, is Jessica Watkins, the Oath Keeper now indicted for breaking into the Capitol. 1% Watchdog later told me over text that he didn't know Jessica or that she was in the channel, though the two can be heard in conversation.
What percentage of the crowd is going to the Capitol?
100%, and everybody's marching on the Capitol, all million of us.
This next part is what federal investigators seem most focused on.
We have a good group. We got about 30, 40 of us. We're sticking together and sticking to the plan.
More on that in a moment, but first let's follow her to the Capitol.
We're about 2 blocks away from it now, and police are doing nothing. They're not even trying to stop us at this point.
The wild thing about listening to an active insurrection on Zello is the group dynamic. While she's working her way through the mob outside the building, she has 1% Watchdog and others in her ear, sharing intel from home, cheering her on in real time.
U.S. military news is reporting that the national Capitol has been breached. That's right. This is a can of whoop made in America. Yeah.
Witnessing history, Watchdog.
And encouraging her to kidnap politicians.
You are executing citizens' arrests. Arrest this assembly.
Oh, you guys can't wait till the citizens' arrests start.
Acts of treason, election fraud.
When people start really
Jessica
citizens
Watkins
arresting
can be
these
seen in
Trumpers,
live stream footage taken
it's
around
gonna
this
go down
time,
so quick.
showing a line of militia members very deliberately parting the crowd as they approach the doors. Hampton describes the video.
In footage shared by Ford Fisher, who used to share, there is a column of Oath Keepers who are very clearly part of a unit. They march up to the east entrance of the Capitol building just a few minutes before the doors are breached. Ford zooms in on one of the people involved and a patch that he has on his back that says, "I don't believe in anything, I'm just here for the violence."
About 3 people back, we see Jessica Watkins, dressed in full battle rattle.
Now he's saying it. He just admires these people
the
a little
crowd
too
in
much.
pushing the east
He's
entrance
got 'em in their
door
ear,
open
cheering 'em
before
on.
fighting her way into the
It's so
Capitol
exciting.
rotunda.
And we are in the mezzanine. We are in the main dome right now. We are rocking it. They're throwing grenades. They're freaking shooting people with paintballs, but we're in here.
Be safe. God bless and Godspeed, and keep going.
Get it, Jess. Do your. This is what we lived up for. Everything we trained for.
Following our report on these
Trained for,
communications
and
in
that
January,
plan we didn't
the
have.
Department of Justice began quoting these Zello chats in indictments, along with quite a bit of information about Watkins' alleged plans and motivations.
This is a woman who had served honorably in Afghanistan, who was from a place in Ohio where
that's a
really
name.
wasn't much going on.
Marcy Wheeler, an independent journalist who publishes on her site emptywheel.net, has been poring over all of the reporting and court records related to the 6th.
She was, I think, given an identity in the Oath Keepers that probably replaced what she had in the military. It was structure, it was considered honorable, they could go out and feel like they were protectors of America.
They like to
As the inauguration grew nearer, Jessica Watkins indicated that she was awaiting direction from President Trump. Specifically, they say she sent a text on November 9th saying, "If Trump asks me to come, I will."
According to her boyfriend, Watkins had started her own militia, the Ohio State Regulars, as a storm relief group a year earlier. But after Trump lost the election, she ramped up her involvement with the Oath Keepers by recruiting militiamen to come to D.C. to act as private security for Roger Stone. A video uncovered by ABC News shows that at least 3 Oath Keepers did end up spending time with him in D.C., though I haven't seen anything to prove that he and Jessica Watkins interacted.
Roger Stone doesn't need these people to defend them. I think that was the lure to get people. That function of saying, okay, you're going to be security for these VIPs who are 1 degree from the president of the United States, that's like glamour.
Ultimately, Watkins was able to rope in enough people from Ohio that she was rewarded with an invite to the Oath Keepers leadership chat room on Signal, an encrypted messaging app, in December. which put her in touch with Oath Keepers who had traveled from Florida and Alabama, along with the founder of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, who was in D.C. on January 6th, but hasn't been indicted yet.
So these are these signal chats which will form the backbone of the actual conspiracy case.
In fact, the government has those chat logs because they were still on her phone when she was arrested on January 18th.
They got to Watkins before she deleted anything, and she, didn't want to perjure herself. She knew enough not to do that. A bunch of other people did delete stuff.
People in that chat room make up a large chunk of the 16-person conspiracy case. But remember, Watkins said,
We have a good group. We got about 30, 40 of us. We're sticking together and sticking to the plan.
What do we know about the 30 to 40?
Right? I'm waiting for those other 15 people. There's a group from North Carolina we haven't seen arrested yet. Some of them stayed in Virginia, staying at the Comfort Inn in Ballston, guarding the weapons.
Everybody knows who they are. They better arrest them.
The government claims the Oath Keepers stored a cache of weapons for a QRF, or Quick Reaction Force, that would respond to the Capitol armed if President Trump were to, quote, declare an insurrection and to call us up as the militia.
This brings us to the plan, or as Marcy Wheeler says, one of the possible plans.
They were basically talking about preventing the democratic transfer of power, either by doing something so outrageous in Congress that the expected Biden supporters would rise up as well, or they're just presumptive notion that enough quote-unquote Antifa would show up in the streets and they could